I hope that you are well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 1 English lesson on possessive nouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts, grade 1. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of possessive nouns. All right, so our chapter is possessive nouns. Our subject is English language arts. Grade 1. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of grade 1. And then the lessons that we're going to be focusing on is to select the possessive noun that matches the picture. So we're going to select the possessive noun that matches the picture. So we first going to have to find out what a possessive noun is. All right. So when it comes to possessive nouns, right, if you listen to the word possessive, right, and then possessive noun, it basically shows either someone that owns something or someone that has something, right? So it's someone that owns something or someone that has something. And usually when it comes to possessive noun, right, and in order to make a possessive noun, all we need to do is to add an apostrophe and an S. So we need to add an apostrophe and an S to a word or to the name of a person or an animal or a place or even a thing to show that they own something or to show that they have something. Like if it's your pencil, right? And then we can say it's, if your name is, for example, Anne, I'll just make an example, Anne. So if your name is Anne, and then if we say, for example, Anne has a pencil, so we say Anne has a pencil. And then we can say, when we make a possessive noun, right? And then we can say, it is Anne's. And now we put an apostrophe and an S. You see, we put an S and apostrophe. It is Anne's pencil, right? So whose pencil is it? It is Anne's pencil, right? Because it is something that belongs to Anne. If it's somebody's toy, and then we can say it is Anne's toys or James's toys, right? If we can think of another example, um, the dog's bone. So it can either be the dog's bone or it can be anything, right? But anything that belongs to you or belongs to someone, right? Or anything that shows that someone owns something or has something, we call that a possessive noun. So a possessive noun, it shows either who owns something, or a possessive noun shows who has something, right? So that is a possessive noun. It shows who owns something or it shows who has something. All right, and if we look at an example, right? It says, once again, that a possessive noun, it shows who owns something or who has something. And in order for us to make a possessive noun, we need to add the apostrophe and an S to either a person, an animal, a place, or even to a thing, right? And if we look at an example, right, we made an example of Anne's pencil. Or if since the bike belongs to Matt, right, and not just any bike belongs to Matt, the red bike belongs to Matt, we can then say Matt's bike. You see, we put an apostrophe and an S, so it's an apostrophe and an S. An apostrophe and an S, right? That is what we put there. So we say it is Matt's bike is red. So whose bike is red? Matt's bike is red. So now we know who owns the bike or who does it belong to, right? Or we can even say the dog's name is Rex. Whose name is it? It's the dog's name. So there we have it. The dog's name is Rex, right? Not the cat's name is Rex, the dog's name is Rex. And we basically add an apostrophe and an S to show either who owns something or to show who has something, right? And we call that a possessive noun. So, possessive noun. Because if you can think of something that you own or something that you have, right? Think of something that you own or something that you have, and then you make a sentence of that. but use your name, for example, and then you say that your name and then what you own. It can either be a bicycle, it can be a car, it can be a doll, it can be a book, it can be an Xbox, it can be a phone, laptop, tablet, anything. What do you own? What belongs to you that you can say that I own this? So even if it means that we go out for ice cream, right? Let's say we go out for ice cream and someone's ice cream is leaking, right? The same example, Nadine's ice cream is leaking. Then we say Nadine's, and we put an apostrophe and an S. Nadine's ice cream is dripping or leaking, or I don't know what the word is that we can use, right? So it's dripping, or we can say it's leaking, or it's missing, or something like that, right? Or we can say Nadine's car is gray because I've got a grayish car, silver grayish car. But it shows something that I own, something that belongs to me, right? All right. So now if we look at our sentence, right, it says we need to select the possessive noun that matches the picture. All right, so now we're going to say we need to complete the sentence to match the picture. It says the car is on the street. So the car is on the street, right? If we look at the person that is in the car, so we can then say the man's car. And we put an apostrophe and an S, right? So we say that the man's car is on the street. Whose car is it? It is the man's car, right? He owns the car, something that belongs to him. So his car is on the street. So we can say the man's car is on the street. All right, if we look at this picture, whose dish is in the grass? Whose dish is in the grass? Look at the picture. Whose dish is in the grass? The dish is in the grass. Man is correct, but don't forget to put an apostrophe in S. So you're going to say, for example, you first write man, then you put the apostrophe and you put an S. The apostrophe sign is there by the inverted commas. It is that little comma thingy that is there by the inverted commas. That is the apostrophe sign. either on your PC or something. So now if we look at this picture, right? So if we look at this picture, what animal or thing or person or whatever do we see in this picture? Yes. So we can then say that the dog's dish is in the ground. So we can then say the dog's dish is in the ground. The dog's dish. Whose dish is that? Right? We can say it is the dog's. And well done. We need to put the apostrophe and the S. So well done. So we can say the dog's dish is in the grass because it shows that it belongs to the dog or it is the dog's, right? So it is the dog's dish or the dog's food or the dog's bowl that is in the grass. Don't forget to put your apostrophe and your S. Because remember, if you don't put your apostrophe and an S, and then it will mean, it's almost like you will say, if you don't put apostrophe and S and you just say, for example, dogs like this, then we will assume that this is more than one dog, right? That will mean that this is more than one dog. But if you put your apostrophe and your S, then it means that we are only referring to that one dog. But if you say dogs without the apostrophe and S, then it means that it is more than one dog's food. And this only belongs to one dog. Right? Because remember when we show that something is plural and then we add an S to it. But now if you want to show that someone or something belongs to someone or they own something, then we need to put an apostrophe and S. But we can say it is the dog's dish that's in the grass. So well done. All right. Okay, so now if we look at the next one, it says the money is in his hand. The money is in his hand. Whose money is in his hand? Or what money is in his hand? So this man bought flowers and he has the money in his hand. So we can either say, remember, we can't say the man's money, because if we say the man's money, he is the man, right? And the money is in his hand. Or we can also say the man's money is in his hand, but it will, but he is the man. Unless we can maybe say the woman's money is in his hand. Or should we say the man's money? Oh, it is actually correct. So it is actually correct when you say the man's money is in his hand. So well done. It is actually correct. Sorry. So the man's money, right? Meaning that his money is in his hand. So well done. Remember, you're going to have to add your apostrophe and your S. If you're not adding your apostrophe and your S, then it means that it is more than one man. So we can say that the man's money is in his hand, right? So he's got the money in his hand. So this man needs to then pay this lady for the flowers that he bought, right? Let's go next. All right, if we look at the next one, right? It says the doors are closed. The what doors are closed? If we look at this little housey, we look at this little house. What do we call this? Or what do we call this building? Or what do we call the structure? So the what doors are closed? This is the doors of the what? All right, so if we look at this picture over here, I assume it's a barn, right? So I assume it's a barn. So then we can say the barns. See, we first add barn, then we put the apostrophe and we put the S. So we first say barn, then we put the apostrophe and we put the S, right? So the barn's doors are closed. So the barn's doors are closed. And don't forget to put your apostrophe and your S to show who owns something or who has something, right? And just like we said, the barn's doors are closed. And like I say, once again, your apostrophe and your S needs to be there. And that will basically show who owns something or who has something or who it belongs to. And if you don't put the apostrophe in an S, all right, then it will mean that there's more than one of that thing. And in this case, we are only making mention of this one specific thing, right? All right, we already went to that one. Now let's look at this picture. Let's look at this picture. The nest is in the tree. The whose nest or what's nest is in the tree. There we see the little person. It's his nest that is in the tree. All right, so if we look at this specific picture, right, and then we can say the nest is in the tree. Whose nest is in the tree? You look at this little animal over there. Whose nest is in the tree? So we need to say whose nest is in the tree. All right, so if we are going to look at this picture, we will say then that the bird's nest is in the tree. So we will say bird. Remember, we make mention of the bird, but then we put our apostrophe and our S. So the bird's nest is in the tree, right? Meaning that that nest belongs to the birds or that bird. That bird owns the nest, it belongs to that bird, right? So we can say that the bird's nest is in the tree. All right, so now we're going to our test. All right, and we are going to complete the sentence to match the picture. All right, so if we look at this picture, all right, so dad holding the child's hand, it says the boy is holding his hand. Whose hand is he holding? Is he holding his grandma's hand or is he holding his dad's hand? Look at this picture. It says the boy is holding his, do we say his grandma's hand or his dad's hand? Whose hand is he holding? All right, so if we were to choose the correct option, then yes, we can say the boy is holding his dad's hand, which is the second option. So well done, right? So he's holding his dad's hand. So well done. Dad's is correct. All right, let's look at the next picture. It says is it the baby's cake looks good or the boy's cake looks good? The baby's cake looks good or the boy's cake looks good? So Do we say the baby's cake looks good, or do we say the boy's cake looks good? We need to choose the correct answer. Is that a baby that you see over there? Or is that a boy that you see over there in the picture? It says the cake looks good. Whose cake looks good? The baby's cake looks good, or the boy's cake looks good? Is that a baby, or is he just a boy? And if we were to choose the correct answer, we would say the boy's cake looks good. So the boy's cake looks good, right? Because he's a boy, not a baby anymore. All right, if we look at this picture, it says, is it the girl's dress is pretty, or is it the man's dress is pretty? Whose dress is pretty? The girl's dress is pretty, or the man's dress is pretty? If you look at this picture, whose dress is pretty? Is it the dress is pretty, or the man's dress is pretty? All right, and if we were to choose the correct answer, right, to match the picture, or the sentence to match the picture, and then we can say that the girl's dress is pretty, right? It's got a beautiful yellow dress. So the girl's dress is pretty. So well done. That is correct. All right, if we look at this picture, the bushes are tall. Is it the houses bushes that's tall, or the streets bushes that are tall? Whose bushes are tall? Is it the houses bushes are tall, or the streets bushes are tall? So the houses bushes are tall. Like, look at the picture. What do you see? Or is it the streets bushes are tall? All right, and if we were to choose the correct answer, we would say it is the house's bushes that's tall because we can see that the bushes are quite tall in front of the house. So we say the house's bushes are tall, and we're specifically referring to that one house, right? All right. The truck is new. Whose truck is new? Is it the boys' truck that is new? Or is it the store's truck that is new? Whose truck is new? Look at the picture. Is it the boys' truck that's new? Or is it the store's truck that's new? Do we say the boys' truck is new? Or do we say the store's truck is new? All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, we will say that the boys' truck is new, right? Which means that this truck belongs to the boy. It is his truck, and it is a brand new truck. So it is the boys' truck is new. All right, so now we need to say whose cake is brown. Is it the girl's cake that is brown? Or do we say it is the clown's cake that is brown? The girl's cake is brown, or do we say the clown's cake is brown? All right. So do we say that the girl's cake is brown, or do we say the clown's cake is brown? Whose cake is brown? If we look at this picture, whose cake is brown? The girl's cake is brown, or the clown's cake is brown? And if we were to choose the correct answer, we would say that the girl's cake is brown. All right, so well done. All right, so now we're going to A plus students.ca, and we're going to learning material. Let's go to reading. Going to press on reading, and then you're going to scroll right down under or until you get these three purple boxes. And then you'll see the first one is beginners phonics book. Then the second one is reading fluency. We're going to the third one, which is to read along audiobook level 1. All right, so then once we are here by reading, we are now going to open up one of our reading pieces. And then we're going to read with them. And this is an audio reading, right? It's audio reading, meaning that it's almost like somebody will read for you. All you have to do is you're gonna have to follow and listen, look at the words, listen to the pronunciation, right? All right, let's go to this one that says Grandpa's Secret Potion.
Grandpa's Secret Potion by Holly Hartman. Illustrations by Nina Olakainen. My grandpa can do anything, and I am his best helper. Sometimes grandpa and I make magic. We mix a potion with a little of this and a lot of that. We put our potion into a big flat pan. Then we make magic wands. We wrap the wands in a secret way. Slowly, we say some magic words. Grandpa's Secret Bubble Potion. Mix 1 gallon water, 2/3 cup dishwash soap, 1 tablespoon glycerin. For best results, allow solution to age for 5 days. It can be stored for long periods of time.
All right, so that is our reading piece or reader on Grandpa's Secret Potion. And we just found out how Grandpa made his potion, right? And his grandson was his little helper. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on possessive nouns. We said possessive noun shows who owns something or it shows who has something, right? And we need to add an apostrophe and an S to show who owns something or who has something. All right, so this is the end of our lessons, grade one. Thank you very much for joining the class, and I really hope that you're going to have a good day further. All right, goodbye.